Yo, what up guys? Planet Armor coming to you guys with a brand new deck profile of the new build of Traptrix. But this build has artifacts in them. I managed to get a hold of some, borrowing them from a friend. Very cool of that friend. But either way, this deck is pretty cool. I like this deck. This build is particularly good against ABC and Zoodiac. Well, not exactly like great against them, but it's up there, and it can definitely do some really crazy stuff. I will mention cards I am definitely going to cut, and I guess I kind of tied for first with this deck. We had like a really funky tournament, but I went 3-0 with this deck, beating 2 DDDs and some other deck. It was something. But either way, this deck performed very well. I really liked it. I really liked the way it played. And I think it has a solid Zoodiac matchup, as long as you make a couple of adjustments. So, getting straight into the profile, we're playing still triple Mermello. Mermello searches for one of our 4 trap holes. This card is like really solid, honestly. I really like it because it's just really, really good against Zoodiac. Being able to search something and having a solid body as well is just absolutely fantastic. So this card is definitely very good. Next we are playing 2 Diania. Oh, the other deck was Blue Eyes. I played against 2 DD and Blue Eyes. We played 2 Diania. So this card is also very powerful. Brings back your Mermello, allows you to pop a back row, which is extremely convenient. And then also when you special summon it, you get a trap hole, which isn't actually particularly a powerful effect, as it misses timing off Sacred Tree, where Mermello doesn't. So it's just like really annoying for that case. So yeah, don't really like this card. Well, it's good when you normal summon it, but when you special summon it, it's honestly not super optimal. It's only really good at with its effect when you summon it on your own turn. So that's why, and I don't like it for that reason. Next card, we are playing 1 Nepenthes. You know, everybody knows I love this card. Anybody who's seen the last profile. So essentially, this card, we just want to summon it off of Sacred Tree. We cut the Lone Fires, and it's so good being able to just activate a trap hole and rip something out of your deck. And also, when you just open this card without any trap holes, you can, if your opponent like actually reads the card, they know they have to play around it. So that is like really, really solid way to scare your opponent. It's just such a good card. I did that twice where I just kind of put it on the board, and then my opponent played around it and then lost because I didn't have a trap hole, and I just activated other cards. So very powerful card, and it's amazing when you have Mermello Sacred Tree, so you can get this guy out, have a Floodgate trap hole set, and then just go in. Very good. So we're playing 1 Glow Up Bulb. So Bulb is just like fantastic. Even when you draw this card, as long as it's with Sacred Tree, like you have nuts combos with Mermello. And then also like Bulb is just super good at making Nat Beast. So that's why we like this card. It's also just another target that you can get off of Sacred Tree, and I like it for that reason too. As well as like by itself, like over 2 turns, it can be a full rank 4 by popping it once for a Mermello and then popping it again for a second one. I still want to put more insect and plants, insect plant earths, but I don't know which ones, and I feel like these are some of the best ones, honestly, just for this particular deck. I also want to find a Naturia to play because, I don't know, I want to be able to ignition my own Naturia Sacred Tree. It does come up. Playing 2 Curry Bandit, we cut the Lone Fires for 2 of these. So this card is like actually pretty good. You may think it's pretty bad, but it's actually like pretty good. And then when you have Call of the Haunted, it's like insanely good. But it just helps you dig through like the deck, and like it's just super strong. It can mill like Bulb, it can mill Traptrix, so that Diania is live. It just kind of makes everything live, and it just gives you another turn 1 normal summon, which puts us up to 5, which isn't great, or 6 if you count Nepenthes. But like that isn't great, and I do want to get that number up. However, like Curry Bandit just such a good one. I'm not sure if I want to play 3 yet. I am considering it for sure, but drawing 2 is like really bad. So yeah. Moving on to the artifact engine, we play triple Scythe and 1 Moral Attack. I do want to put in Beagle Tax. I will tell you what I'll cut for that. Either 1 or 2. I don't know how I feel yet about the Beagle Tech numbers. But either way, these guys are pretty good. Scythe is just particularly super powerful. And then Mortal Tech is like the extra one, honestly. 2 Ignition, getting a 3rd one. This card is just so good. And I do want to play 6 artifacts, so I want to play 3 Ignition, 3 Sanctum. So Ignition is just super powerful, though. Just blows everything out of the water. With Beagle Tech, it's just extremely powerful. But today, it's like the day I played this deck, actually, not today. I played it like a couple days back. It didn't hit much, honestly. Like, hitting your opponent's card with this is, like, not super optimal, because you kind of just put a card in your back row that you now have no way to pop. But, like, opening 2 of these is, like, really good. And that's what I like about this card. Sorry. So, yeah, it's just, like, it's so good. Good at drawing multiples. Like, at one point I just hit a contract and then set a Scythe and then pop the Scythe with this. However, one thing to note is that you can't activate this with 5 back row, and I made that mistake once today. Playing Double Pot of Duality. It's really good because you no longer special summon on your own turn outside of Instant Fusion or Diania. But on turn 1, you don't special summon on your own turn at all. And I might just bump this up to 3 because it just helps you dig through your deck. And I really like that. 2 Instant Fusion. This card is super powerful. Like, I cannot even preface how strong this card is. Like, it fixes bad hands because if you open just a random level 4 like Nephentius or Diania, you can Instant Fusion into Norden and then just make Rafflesia defensively, which is, like, really good. And then in the late game, like, this card is just absolutely bonkers because of how big your rank 4 toolbox is. So I actually really love this card, and Norden is definitely one of the cards that keeps this deck allowed to come back and make strong comebacks. However, I don't know. I kind of want more traps, and I was considering cutting this for more traps. But in the end, across the whole day, I like Soul Charge less. So those Soul Charges are win condition. It really sucks to have it in your opening hand. I didn't draw it today at all. But like after I took a couple of test hands against my friend, I noticed that like you draw this card. Like if you draw this card like in your opening hand, it's just a really dead card. And that kind of sucks. So I would move away from playing Soul Charge because I feel like this card is just really, really bad. In all honesty, I don't like this card at all. Even with Curry Bandits and stuff, you don't play that many monsters, so theoretically, like, it's an amazing late game card. But if you draw it like any time within like the first 8 or 9 turns of the game, like this card is so bad. And then we played 1 Upstart. I'm probably cutting these 2 for Beagle Tax, and then something else for the 3rd Ignition. I like Upstart is a pretty great card. Don't get me wrong. I drew it like once today, but I don't like it that much. And honestly, I might as well, if I don't cut it for a Beagle Tech, I'll just cut it for like a 3rd Duality, because like that is much better than an Upstart. We're playing Triple Sanctum because it's expensive, so it's good. This card is so good. Like, I cannot even preface how strong this card is against Zoodiacs, and especially DDD, where you just flip this card on them. If you flip it on the standby phase, like the only way they really can get other monsters out from outside of their extra deck is like by banishing Slime from the graveyard. They can't really get big monsters out any other way, unless they're playing like really heavy pendulum builds, which don't exactly exist. So if you Scythe on the standby phase, they can't activate Slime, which means that like they're actually just screwed. And I've seen a couple of people play Orthoros. So another play they could do is normal summon Slime, activate Orthoros, Orthoros pop Slime, pop a back row, and then they can special summon something from their hand. But that's like a 3-card combo to put something on the board. So it's not super optimal. And plus, we typically have more back row past that. 3 Sacred Tree. I never want to cut this down from 3. I just never want to have to, because like this card is so powerful. Even like I wanted to play a Naturia plant, so that like any Naturia plant, I just wanted a decent one so that I could ignition it off if I ever open 2, and then just add it from deck to hand. As long as it's like removal. Like, I would really like that. Like, removal would be pretty optimal. And, like, if I don't have to normal summon, it's even better. But, like, I don't know if there's a card like that. We play 3 Call of the Haunted. This card is so good. Like, I cannot even preface how powerful this card is. And then we just play another Oasis. So we play 4 copies, essentially. But Oasis is much worse than this deck, because it changes the target to Worm, so we can't Sacred Tree it away. which is like pretty lame. However, like Oasis is just such a powerful card, honestly. Like, it's so strong. Just to play another copy. There's no better Call of the Haunted, and Call of the Haunted is just so strong as well. But summoning and defense can sometimes save you. Moving on, we are playing a ton of one-ofs. So for my one-of text, I played 1 Needle Sealing and 1 Compulse. So I really, really like Compulse this format because it hits Genghis like really hard. And then Needle Sealing also hits just Zoodiacs to pieces. It hurts Blue Eyes, it hurts DDD. It doesn't hurt Metal Foe, but I don't know if that deck's ever really going to be prevalent. I might end up cutting Compulse for Time Space, because Time Space is searchable, and plus it's like just has synergy with the deck. But Compulse is also pretty good. And I don't know. I think I'd have to play 3 Time Space before I put the Compulse back in. But I would like to put in more Needle Sealings, like maybe 2 or 3, because I feel like this card is like actually just a blowout. Moving on to the trap holes, I played a very diverse lineup. So I played Bottomless, even though it's technically the worst one right now, because it's the only one that doesn't hit Zodiac monsters. I would actually end up probably cutting this card for another Time Space. So optimally 3 Time Space, or 2 Floodgate, 2 Time Space, 1 Nightmare, or 2 Nightmare, 1 Time Space, 2 Floodgate, or yeah, you get the idea. But I think Nightmare is really powerful. I think like even Nightmare is better than Bottomless, because Nightmare is super strong against Zodiac. So that's why I really like this card. And then Bottomless is like really, really powerful against DDD, which I really like. And like Nightmare is okay against that deck. But the thing I like about it is that it's proactive and it stops Siegfried like immediately. Like for example, if you activate Bottomless and then this responding to their Siegfried targeting the Bottomless, it's just extremely proactive and it just stops it. And also it's just a really good search. And then these two are kind of like iffy. So like Time Space is like really, really good against DDD, like the best one I think. And then Floodgate's really bad against DDD, but Floodgate is like really good against Zodiac. And then Time Space is like against Zodiac. Because, like, they can, if they know you have it, they're just going to Drancia and then pop your monster, and then you have, like, they can chain to this popping your monster, which, like, really sucks. But honestly, like, your opponent has to be pretty smart to do that, and you still end their play regardless. And if you have Neff and TS, it still goes off. So, it's not that bad against that deck, however. Floodgate is really powerful against it, because you can stop Mole Marat. That was a lot of talking. Moving on, we're playing 1 Torrential. Torrential is just better Needle Sealing, so that's why I like Torrential. Solemn Warning and Vanities, just best cards in the game. Well, not the best, but like some of the best traps in the game. No D barriers, no strikes, 2 budget for that. I wouldn't be playing them if I own them. I don't own them. I'm not playing them. I don't know how I feel about playing Pot of Desires. If I ever got my hands on 2, I would put them in this deck, or at least try them. However, I don't know how those cards would work, considering we have very small engines that we rely on Emerald to put back. But getting 2 extra cards is just really good, and you're never really going to hit 3 Scythes, so I think that card would be worth it. I'm not going to be one of those people, like, I don't own Pot of Desires, I know it sucks. But yeah, that's the main deck. It's 39 cards if you count Upstart. A to Z Dragon Buster. Moving on to the extra deck, we got our 3 tokens. So we have Norden, Panzer for our instant fusion targets. So Panzer is really cool because like if your opponent maxes you, and there's not many places to max this deck outside of like artifact combos and like that's about it honestly. And Dianea, but like you can stop at Dianea, and I wanted to be able to stop at instant fusion as well as have a good target. So Panzer is like the best target because you can summon it and then on your end phase pop something. And then also what you can do with this card is you can just make Pallades, which is really good card. So yeah, that's why I like it. Balmung, this card is okay. It's for when you soul charge into Curry Bandit and Glow Bulb, so you can make this card to get another level 4. Or just as defense. I'm definitely cutting this card. This card sucks. I'm putting either a 7 because of Ghost Ogres, and I might end up maining those too, or switching this out for a another 5, or a 6. 6 is pretty good too. Naturia Beast. This card is like nuts. It's not good against many decks, but it's still worth playing, so I like it. Like against Zoodiac, often if you make this turn 1, you can just, if you're also able to just stop their like, if you make this and Scythe, like, they're actually just dead. So that's why. Vermilion is like solid. Trish is better though. I'm just playing this card because I don't have one. This isn't even mine either. I'm borrowing both. But either way, moving on. We play one Rafflesia, or for the rank 4s we play Rafflesia. I was talking about playing 2 of these, but like 1 is just fine. I barely ever make 1. Like I barely actually make rank 4s. Dweller, this card's pretty solid. Emerald, this card's pretty good. Diamond Dire, it's okay. Double Castel, cutting this to 1. 2 never comes up. Utopia and Lightning, these are like pretty good. They don't come up a lot. I only made them like once. Like out of everything, I only ever made like 1 Castel. Only made like Diamond. I never made Diamond Dire. I made like Emerald, not at all. But that card is like really important. I made Dweller like once, Rafflesia like once, and then I made like these guys like once. But that's about it. So I never made these 2, but they're still worth playing because we have this base. And then for the rank 5s, we played Pallades and Durandal. These 2 are like the best ones, honestly. Pallades can bounce back Call of the Haunted or Vanities, which is like really cool when you start bouncing back Vanities so your opponent like has to play around it. It's like really cool. And then Durandal is really cool because a lot of the time we only play 2 Ignition for 4 artifacts. So chances are you're going to draw an artifact before you draw an Ignition. Not counting the odds of Sanctum, which is like the definite card. But Durandal can just like either pop it, or if you have a lot in hand, you can shuffle them all back. So it's just really, really convenient with the whole deck. So I love this card. It's just good. I like never made either of these. No, I made Pallades once. Pallades is probably the better one, but I like Durandal more because of the days of XYZ Monarchs. When you bricked, you could shuffle your hand back and then keep going. It was pretty good days. Moving on to the extra deck, or the side deck. The side deck is actually just garbage, and I would not play it in the slightest. But I played 1 Aegis. I wanted this just as a tech. It's pretty good against, what is that deck called? I thought it was pretty good against Zoodiac, but then I remember they can just Whiptail into it, so, like, Whiptail. Not a good card. They can just Whiptail over it, and then you just die, so. And they're searching Whiptail regardless, so. That's why. Maxi, DD Crow, Ghost Ogre, and then Flying Sea. So this is like my hand trap barrage. This definitely needs more testing, as I don't think I need Flying Seas. Maybe not, I don't know. I think, because like these are pretty good against Zoodiac, considering they can't kill it. Unless they barrage. Well, yeah, it's pretty killable. But usually they barrage before they normal summon, so that's why. I only play 1 Maxi because I only own 1, but I will hopefully get a second one. 2 DD Crows are like, they're pretty good against DDD, but otherwise they're not fantastic. And then Ghost Ogre is just like naturally just pretty good, and that's why I'm considering maining it, where it's just like doesn't have a bad matchup, and that's why I like this card. Because as soon as your opponent goes in for the combo and they go for Broadbull, if they search first, you can pop it and then they die. Well, they still keep like a Drancia on the board, but then they don't have much. That's what I'm trying to say. Due system down, expected there would be a lot of ABC, there was no ABC. And then the Hate Triangle, 2 Imperial Iron Wall, and then 2 Shadow Imprisoning. So Imperial is just so that we can like not die to DDD, and then same with Shadow. And I think I want to play a 3rd one if I can find my 3rd one, because like DDD, like regardless of being like a pretty good matchup, it's still like a hard matchup, and like that's why. And then finally 1 Chain Disappearance. I want to bump this up, find more of these, because Chain Disappearance is like nuts good against Zoodiac, because you can hit all 3 of their Mulmarats if they go for it, which is like pretty good. And then they have to play their whole game without Mulmarat. So that's why I like this card. But you do have to go first for this, and that's why there's only 1 in here. But I would like to get more, because system downs are definitely coming out. And this deck already has like a pretty good ABC matchup because of Sanctums into Scythe, and then they like Scythe is bigger than all their monsters, as well as like it's just there. However, if they go first, like often you might just die because of how good their deck is. So I don't know. I like this deck because it can compete with the meta. I think you should definitely try it if you have all the cards, like, and plus artifacts aren't like, they're pretty expensive right now, so if anything I wouldn't recommend playing this deck now because of how expensive these cards are, but like I said, I didn't buy them. But either way, thank you all for watching. This has been the deck I like to call Traptrix artifacts. Treetrix artifacts. That is more and more starting to look like Scythe control, but it will never be Scythe control. So either way, I have a lot of ideas for this deck. Going to be playing this deck for a while, so if you like this deck, do not worry. There's going to be more profiles. I'm sorry for the excruciatingly long profile, but if you liked it, please tell me. If you didn't, whatever. So thank you all for watching, and yeah, this is the Fandom Armor signing out to you all. Peace!